I,
Dearest mother.
dearest mother.
Congratulations, Cromartie got turned into an anime.
Okay.
But so many people complain about stuff like character designs and voice acting decisions.
I just had that exact discussion with a friend of mine not too long ago. I was like, give or take, there's some merit to it where it's just like I can't watch dubs because they always use the same exact voice actors. And I'm like, I am subscribed to a thing, or I like the thing on Facebook that just basically was happy birthday alerts to Japanese voice actors as well. Then I've watched multiple interviews where there will be people in Japan that will complain that they almost have it worse with voice actors doing the exact same roles and the exact company using the same people because it's called contracts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It happens everywhere. It's not just America, give or take. Was it bad for a while in about 2001 to about 2007? Yes. But it's literally everywhere.
Yeah, no, this is why I don't like getting into those dub versus sub debates because it just there's never a good argument from the people who hate dubs because it's just like we are in a time period now where most dubs are going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Unless there's like some kind of behind the scenes production thing like the Gintama dubbing fiascos or well, not even fiascos, just like decisions made that people are like, huh, interesting.
Or it's like also, and this is me totally ripping on friends of my own. It's like, yeah, all dubs are bad. I'm like, can I ask how many you watched? Well, I don't watch them because they're bad. How do you know they're bad?
Like, watch up.
Like, I watch it in both. Every new anime I watch, if it's short enough, I watch it in both.
No, when we do the seasonal anime drops, we usually watch them in subs, and then if a dub comes out, I rewatch them in dub to see if anything changes.
Yeah.
So there's just it's just funny how the episode opens with that. It turns into like a stereotypical anime girl. So it's like, maybe I could talk like this and everything, or it goes into like this very basic cartoon shape look, like, or maybe I'll just talk like this.
Turn
It's
into
like,
a
Fine.
character.
I'll just be myself because that was a lot of work.
I'll just be myself. That wasn't worth it.
People who complain should just watch this anime 1,000 times.
Then they'll have a right to.
Some anime, there's barely any animation. Now, there just a heads up, they do drop an F slur in this episode.
That kind of took me by surprise.
It's
I'm
the
being
one.
honest.
It's the one time they do it, and it sucks that it happens within the second episode because everything else about this episode is hilarious as hell.
Yeah. So far, this is my favorite of the two we've seen so far.
They do this. They do the same joke 100 times.
Yeah,
Basic-
like this episode, we can't really pick a favorite gag because it's just the same gag, just in different variations.
This might be the cheapest episode of anime I've ever seen made in my entire life. They literally have the same frame for half of the entire episode.
Well, it's like the whole plot of this episode. Well, plot is they introduce Mechazawa, and the whole episode is all about everyone being completely stupid and not knowing Mechazawa is a robot, except for like a few handful of students. And that's the entire gag throughout this whole episode. And yet it's funny every single time.
Mhm.
Just a build up to it, all the excitement, like, hey, Mechazawa, I was wondering something about you ever since I started here. And you see the guy's face is like stretch. Like,
Your second button's undone. Oh, come on.
they're just waiting for everyone to realize he's a robot. And
Row.
they're going to say it. Robot, just say it.
Just say it.
Roly poly, friend from my school.
From sixth grade. Yaru, is that you?
I was like, what the hell are they calling this Blade Runner for? I'm like, oh, got it.
I love the whole sequence where the guy's CD player breaks.
His disc man.
His disc man. I love that. Just like, yeah, but I hope there's someone in this classroom that knows how to do this. It's like, you moron. you know nobody here at school knows about machines. We're all just this school is just full of complete dumbasses.
Good Lord.
And then they're like, yeah, but there's always that one kid in every class that's good with machines.
Oh,
they
I
take it
know.
to- Yeah.
And then they go to Mekazawa. It's like, oh yeah, I'd love to help you, but I don't know how to do machines.
And you can't at all tell that this manga was written starting in the year 2000 because the most difficult thing for a technology was set the clock on a VCR. That aged me by about 20 years.
I just got a huge kick, and then they're just like, "Come on, Mekazawa! Someone got punked by a bunch of kids on the other school. We gotta go help them. Let's get a few guys and teach them a lesson they deserve." And Mekazawa is just like, "Oh, but I heard it was this guy who did it, so maybe I'll take the fall for y'all instead." Like, you're so thoughtful and thankful for, but what? Why do you do this? Why?
You're such a badass.
Then Mekazawa slaps someone. It's like, don't you understand that if you get in trouble, who will take care of that dear mother of yours?
Yes. That's another one of like almost every anime. There's someone that's got someone is just like they're in the hospital. Why? Because they have plot cancer.
Yeah. They have plot. That's what it is.
Exactly.
And then Mekazawa is just all like, it's like, yeah, I'm bad with machines, and it's like, and then he kind of calls him out on like, but we thought you would do it, like you'd be good with machines.
I'm
like,
all thumbs.
How dare you think I'm good with machines? Men didn't think women were good with machines, but that's changed.
They're 100 times smarter than us too.
I just love that I adore that all the characters in this show look like 30-year-old men in high school uniforms.
That is my favorite thing that will never not be a thing in animation. It's like, and I just, as of a month ago, got done binging all of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where there are American Gladiator-sized 13-year-olds. And it's just like, oh, he's a high school student. I'm like, Jotaro's 6'7", and he could bench press a continent. He's not in high school.
This art style does kind of remind me a little bit of JoJo, like with the thick lines and the detail.
No, the director for this show is Hiroaki Sakurai. If you've seen stuff like The Disastrous Life of Psyche K, he's the same director. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's just funny. That's all this show is. It's just funny, and just like all the little editing details, like again, the guy's face that stretches across the screen, and then like when they're all like, you see, ever since you started here, and then you see like the clip art of Kamiyama and his friend just kind of floating in the background, like some random YouTube joke.
Yes, my favorite one was like, but we're the only ones that notice he's normal, and then they show Freddie Mercury in the background. It's like, there's no one else in this high school that's that weird, that it shows the gorilla.
Gosh, and
like this reminds me more of now. Like I mentioned MXC, and it still does remind me of that because I don't know how they do this purposely, but like how the dub is done, it feels like they're changing what they're actually saying. Like it was something serious originally. It's weird to say that unless you watch it, that it doesn't feel like that's what they should be saying. It feels like someone wrote this ghost stories, but purposely.
Yeah, that's exactly the vibe that you get from this kind of show, where it is very much someone's taking the wind out of this.
Yes,
but it's not on accident. It's on purpose.
It's on purpose. Yeah.
That's why the show would be perfect for Adult Swim.
Like this would be good now.
Yeah, this would be like I said, I compare it to like Aqua Teen Hunger Force because it's like there's a plot to Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Well, plot, but it's mostly there for like the jokes and the gags and all the characters that you encounter and such. And that's literally what a lot of Adult Swim built its foundation on.
Basically.
So it was just interesting that this never got on there like at the same time as Cowboy Bebop or Trigun, even though those are like wildly different than what they were showing at the time.
It was, but yeah, that was a weird time, and
Yeah. No, it's just like, yeah, it's like if you're not down for this gag kind of stuff and just taking the wind out of delinquent dramas, you're probably not going to like this episode or this show entirely. But it's just so funny. It's like pure jokes. There's no like really hard to think about kind of humor. There's no real references unless you're like a fan of those kind of anime from back then. It's just wacky humor.
Basically.
Which is good. There's never a bad time for that. It's when in the right places, it's good.
Yeah. And just how Mechazawa gets kidnapped. We don't see what happens. They probably would have just said, go read the manga instead.
And he gets stabbed with his strawberry short knife.
You mean he broke your strawberry short knife?
They were playing Mad Libs when they came up with that.
They had to.
You could have gave me a million guesses. I never would have came up with strawberry short knife.
Can't you see how like pathetic you all look? Thousands of you tying them up. There's only 3 of us here, sir.
Or strawberry short blade. Sorry, that sounds close. But there's only 5 or 6 guys teaming up on them.
There's only 3 of us, sir.
No matter.
And I swear they just like rehash half of the designs, because it's like there's like a handful set designs for every classroom or batch of like background characters, and then they'll just say, oh, they'll offhandedly say they're from a different school, even though it's like you were in like the other room like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, the only difference would be like either a different hair color, or they'll switch the eyes or something,
or maybe like a scar on the left or the right. And I love that they do like this little TV broadcast gag where it's like some drop dead punks. Yeah, you don't want to be that, and it's like punks or something like that, and it's like like lingo that delinquents use.
Yes,
maybe.
We're not entirely sure.
Yeah. It's like there's what is this, a documentary?
It kind of feels like it. If it got a Morgan Freeman-esque narrator at some point. Or just Benedict Cumberbatch not being able to pronounce the word penguins. All right. Yeah, I think it's pretty much nailed that one to the wall. All right.
Yeah.
Cameron, where can everybody find it?
You can find me on twitter.com/CamsEyeView. I have my own website called camseyeview.biz, where I do animation reviews of films and shows from around the world called The Other Side of Animation. And I have a Patreon at patreon.com/CamsEyeView. I am also the co-host of the Renegade Animation podcast on renegadepopculture.com.
All right. Mike, where can I find it?
You guys can find me on Twitter at CaptainK42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can find Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, on Podchaser, The Banana Meter. Listen to all of our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. You need to escape, so do we.
You can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, mostly on YouTube and Twitch. All right. Until next time, we will see you all later. Bye.
Peace.